Hey guys, it's Maymay, and I am so excited about this project. Not this one, although I was excited about this one, but my bonus project that came from this one. Now, if you saw me make our little recipe folio in my two-part series, you will know I kept teasing you about a bonus project, and that's what we're going to do today. If you want to see this two-part series, we'll have it linked in the description below. Now, what is the bonus project? Let's talk about it. First off, these guys, I can't get enough of them, and I really haven't gotten to play with the insides of these guys yet. I've been doing covers for the outside. I did a video showing you how to make these super cute gifts, but I want to do some of my classic composition editing. So that's what we're going to do today. But I had so much left over. Let me show you. Because I had the entire collection, like I had the paper pack, I had the ephemera, I had all of the collection of that Baking Spirits Bright paper, I have plenty to do 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of these little composition books. Now we're going to do one today, but what a great way to use up the last bits of a paper pack when you don't have enough to do a full album, but these guys don't take much. Let's make this little guy. So am I going to recipe him up? Yeah, I'm going to make him a little recipe book. I actually think he'll be super cute that way. Now, what I'm going to do really quick is go back to my paper and see if I have enough to cover this little guy without cutting into my cut aparts. I really do, because look, I have this piece and I can use front and back to do him. And I have a whole other sheet that hasn't been cut that could cover more composition books if I wanted to make more bonus projects from this pack. I'm not going to cut these until I have to. We'll see when I need to do that. But for covering him, you know how much I love this right here, right? You know this is my jam, so we're going to do that. Let me get my trimmer. Now, I want to caution you, I am going to give you the measurements I'm going to use today, but these books are not always the same. They're always a little bit different, and I want you to measure yours. This one is 6 5/8 long by 4 and almost 7/8. So it'll be a little bit heavy if I do a 7/8, so I'll trim it off as needed. I don't cover this black part. I like it. I leave it there. It's a kind of a slicky fabric material. Works fine with sticky tape, and it does work with art glitter glue. It just takes it longer to dry. So I just don't cover it. I think it looks good, and I just work from this edge forward. So we're going to cut us a piece here. Now, I want to get 2 out of this, and I want to pay attention to this side because of its orientation. I think I'll cut the top first for the back of the book. So let's go 6 5/8 tall. Nope, not what I want to do. I want to go 4 7/8 tall. See, I'm the worst at this. You have to pay attention because I will cut this wrong in a second. If you watch my live video doing this, you'll know that is true. I will cut it wrong in a second. So slow down and think. Do as I say, do not as I do. Because I'm the worst. All right, so look, I've got this, and this little extra piece I can use for something else. Now I can cut them down to 6 5/8 because I've got the height right. So let me line those up well. I'm going to cut this down to 6 5/8. There'll probably be some I need to trim here or there. Who knows? Another cute little piece that I can use. Super cute. All right, let's bring our composition book back over. Now for adhesive, you can use sticky tape here. In the past, I have covered my composition books with full sheets of sticky tape. You can totally do that. I'm not doing that today. This little album is for me. I'm not going to stress too much about that. I kind of know my wear and tear limitations, so I'll be okay. But if you want to cover it with some sticky tape and use that as what adheres it down, go right ahead. I'm just going to art glitter glue it. I will tell you, if I'm giving this as a gift, I will 100% use full adhesive to cover the front because I feel like that is just better for the recipient. All right, so I'm going to place this little green down, and I'm seeing I'm overhanging just a little bit weirdly here and there. So place this down like so. Now, the first thing you're thinking is, but Maymay, you didn't round the corners. I didn't. Don't worry. You can round the corners after you get this guy on, no problem. So I'm just going to grab my corner rounder. And I'm going to use the 1/2 inch side for this, and I'm just going to stick this in here like this. And it might even round a little bit of the cover, kind of clean it up, and that's okay too. Look at that. It's cute just like that. It is literally cute just like that. I just love these little albums. And they're so good for purse size. If you make those little albums that I showed you the other night for gifts, so cute for someone to stick in their purse or in their briefcase or their backpack even. So cute. Do people still carry briefcases? Am I out of the loop? I think they do. I have a backpack, so maybe not. Oh, watch. Let me pay attention. There we go. Let's turn this around. Why is orientation my nemesis? Just is. It just is. All right, we'll get this guy on. We'll round those corners. I have the tiniest little sliver hanging over the edge. I'm just going to trim this away. Now, the only reason I would do this is because I was just talking about putting this into your bag or backpack or what have you. And if you're doing that and these little pieces are kind of hanging over the edge, it can kind of loosen the cover. So I'm going to show you how little this is. Look at that little sliver I cut away. But I'm going to do it just to kind of help out with the sliding in and out. This side looks pretty good. I mean, there is a literal hair amount. Let's just see if I can get any of it. No, not be able to get that. Well, I say that. There it went. All right, so we got those little slivers off. And laminating. People ask me about laminating these. You can totally laminate these if you want to. I never really do. It's not something that I have ever wanted to do. I don't really care for the lamination on the front of these, mostly because of this. As you know, unless you're using a heat laminator and you have some hang over the edge to seal shut, it's just a kind of a contact paper or a sticky paper, and I don't love that. So I'm not going to laminate these. I'm going to leave them as is. All right, let's go to the inside. Before we do any decorating outside, let's go to the inside. Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting. Okay, let's get inside this guy and start doing some decorating. Now, I want to tell you, I've been watching a lot of people doing composition books lately because it's been a while since I've made an inside version. I mean, it's been a long time since I've gone inside a composition book. I think since my gratitude journal. So I've seen some really good ideas. I'm going to mix some of those in with mine, and I'll be sure to give credit when I do. So the first thing I want to do is this. I'm going to go to my stamp set called the Recipe Card Builder, and I'm going to let these guys down here dictate how many tabs I want to have. Now, I've been trying to decide if I wanted my tabs to hang out the side or the top, and I think I'm going to have them at the top. One reason is I want a larger tab for me, and another reason is if I am sliding this in and out, I typically go like this, or if I'm putting this in a cabinet or on a bookshelf, that typically gets the most brunt on this area. So I think I'm gonna put them at the top, and I think they'll be cute. I think they'll look like pages sticking out. All right, so what I want to decide is how many tabs do I want? So do I want to do beverages? Not for this album. I don't think so. I like the idea of doing appetizers. I like the idea of salads because we like those, desserts, meats, and casserole. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. So we'll do 5 tabs, and I think I can get 5 tabs up there pretty good. So let's go ahead and make our tabs. So from my scrap pages, these are the ones I have left over. I'm going to use them. I'm okay with all the green. I think it's super cute. So I'm going to stamp my tabs. Now I'm planning to make 5 tabs. That's it. I don't think it needs more. We counted that, and I don't think it needs more than that. I don't think this book really can handle more than that. So I'm going to do 5 tabs. So I'm going to stamp this tab 5 times. Now, what I love about this stamp, when I go to show you how to cut this out, it's so easy to cut out with just your trimmer. But if you would like, we have a free SVG file to use with this guy. So you can cut it out on your Cricut or on your whatever your electronic cutting machine is ahead of time. So there's 2 of those. I think I'm going to do 3 of the polka dots because I've got so much plaid on the front. So let's do that. And then I'm going to do 2 of the plaid. Now I'm going to show you how easy these are to cut out. You have a couple of options. You can use your scissors. You're going to go straight down one side, okay? Straight across the tab center. We're not going to worry about that little indent right there, okay? We're going to go straight up this side and then straight down the other side. And you can do this with your trimmer. You don't have to use your scissors. Do you see that? So I'm going to get them all trimmed out like that, and then we'll do the little notches. Let's say you don't have my stamp set and you want to make the tabs. Let me show you a cute trick. If you take a piece of cardstock, any size you want your tab to be, and of course I would score this and fold it, but I'm just going to do this to show you. You fold it in half. Take your corner rounder, your tab punch, your scallop punch, doesn't matter, and go ahead and punch the folded corner. That's what I'm punching, is the folded corner, and then look at that shape you get. So you can quickly and easily make your own tabs. We did that in our other album, in our recipe folio. So I showed you that, but I really wanted to use these because I think they're cute. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and fold him in half, and I'm just going to let my stamp line at the top dictate the half a little bit. I'm going to also kind of try to use the ends to get them nice and square. You don't have to worry too much if these don't square up at the bottom, because one side goes on one side of the page and one side goes on the other. So you don't see if you're a little off on the bottom. Does that make sense? All right, now I'm just going to take my little cutter bees and you're going to go snip and snip. That's how easy these tabs are. I love when we have stamps that look like you had a die or something for them, but you don't need it. You know what else? Before we do this, let me back up. See, let me make all the mistakes so you don't have to. Let's go in and stamp our labels, our names on here, so that we don't have to fight a folded tab. All right, so I'm going to do casseroles first. So I'm going to put that onto a block. It won't necessarily be my first tab, but I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it. And these words fit inside the tab squares. This one is a tight word. It's a big word. But when we're making the stamp set, I wanted it to be big. I wanted you to be able to really read these. In the past, we've made them and we've had kind of small words, and that's fine. But I like to be able to see them. Cute, right? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Stamp all of these. I changed my mind on one of my tabs. I was going to do salads. And I like salads. We have all different kinds of salad, pasta salad, all the salads. But with this being kind of a winter theme, kind of a Christmas theme, I think it'll be cute to do soups because we do a lot of soups this time of year. So that is super cute. All right, let's get them cut. Look at our tiny scraps. By the way, I will not save these. Where's Vinny when I need him? I will not save these scraps. He says I save way too many scraps. So there's some I won't save. Okay, we are ready to glue them inside. Let's get our little album back. Let's start with the first one is easy. Okay, we know we're going to put the first one, but one thing we might want to think about is I want to put page or pattern paper dividers everywhere I put one of these guys. And something I like to do is I like to bulk up my dividers by gluing several pages together before I put my cardstock on. So I think I'm going to do that now. And I think I'm just going to do 2 pages. Sometimes I'll do 3 pages. I think I'm just going to glue together 2 pages. So here's how I do that, okay? One thing that's important, you'll see that I'm not going to decorate inside this area, this margin. I find when you put paper, cardstock, things like that inside this margin, it really bulks your album up. Your album may bulk up anyway over time, but I don't want to cause it to do more than it needs to. So you won't see me doing anything in that margin. So what I'm going to do here is run some glue down this page. Just like so, and we're just going to seal this shut, and it just gives it some stability. Now, in the past, I have put glue in that margin, and we can do that here because that's really not going to bulk anything up. That just helps hold this page down even better. And then if you'll just take this first page and just close it and then smear it together, that gives you a little bit of stability there. So then you can see here, I've got a little more strength than just one sheet. I don't know, y'all. I'm feeling it, and I might want to do 3. Let's do 3. It can't hurt to do too many. It can hurt to do too little. So let's do 3 pages together. So everywhere I'm going to put a tab, I'm going to glue 3 pages together, and then I'll show you how we're going to decorate it. So since I only have this one full sheet left for me to do this composition book with, this bonus project with, I want to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at my other papers in my stash. This is a set from Echo Park. Now, I keep dots and stripes all the time. I don't care if they're spring or summer collection, whatever. But this one, I really have a hard time using because of these pastels. It's not something I really lean to. So it's been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. So I'm going to use it in here. And let me show you what I did. I pulled that one out, and I just take a cut apart with you to your paper stash and just kind of look at it with all the colors and see if it works. And this really does work. It especially works well enough to cover our little divider pages in the book. So I'm going to mix these together. So another way to use up either papers you don't really use in your stash or papers that you have little bits of left. Like I really think this page will look good too if I mix these together. So let's get those cut and then we'll install them. I've got my divider pages cut. What I'm going to do real quick is just run through and go ahead and corner around one side's corners. Here's the thing, this orientation doesn't matter because it's polka dot, so I don't have to stress too much. So I'll just make sure I just do 2 sides, and then wherever I'm putting it in the book, it will work. So does this feel like cheating because I'm not using just that paper pack? The thing is, I want to save those cut aparts, and I really love that I'm able to use this paper that has just been sitting on my shelf. This is the perfect application for it. All right, let's put one in. I like this color so much. I'm going to start here. I'll put one piece on this side, then I'm going to flip the 3 pages over that we glued together, and I'll put another piece on the back. Now, when you're deciding how much paper to leave in between each one, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can look at your tabs and decide which one of these you think will be the one you have the most of. Like maybe you're a person that really loves to make desserts. You might want to leave yourself a lot of space for desserts. Or maybe you just want a couple of places for appetizers or things like that. Just eyeball it. It does not have to be perfection. I am going to just kind of grab some pages. I'm not going to need that much for appetizers, so I'm going to do something like that and then move over. That is a lot of pages when you think about how many recipes that is for appetizers. Let me count it so you'll know. I grabbed 10 pages. 10 appetizers in this book, pretty good. Let's go to our next page and make our next divider set. And what I'm going to do off camera is just do all my dividers that very same way. So I have my dividers all created and glued in. So now what I'm going to do is put my little tabs on. Now, this will not be a perfect situation. There probably is a way to do this perfect, but I don't know how to do it. So here's what I do. I take the first tab, okay? I want this guy to live here in this area. And so I'm going to glue it right to the edge of my little divider there. Then I'm just going to separate them out, kind of divide them out the best I can, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to add some glue here, and I'm also going to add some glue to the inside. And then I'm going to close this down and glue the front down. And then I'll just slide a little glue under that little back bit in the back. Just come right here, slide a little glue, and now we'll put the whole thing down and squish it all together. Now hold that for a second because you're going to have a little bit of thickness between your front tab and the back tab because of your divider, because that's 2 pages of thickness there, but that's going on really nice. So there's appetizers. So see, that's going to hang out like that. Now, I'm not stressed about not being able to read all the words because I'm going to open the book. I'm going to look through it anyway. So now what I want to do is I want to go to my last divider. This is how I've always done this, and it seems to work for me. Maybe I just get lucky. But I've got my first one in. I'm going to go to the last one, and I'm going to put my last tab on this one. And that's going to be, I had to mess it up a little bit because I wanted my pattern paper to alternate. So it's either not have my pattern paper alternate and put desserts at the end. So then I would have this, the 2 dots together, or put casseroles at the end and let dessert be second. It's fine. This is my book. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to stress about it. Well, I'm putting glue on the tab this time. That is also my habit. All right, so this one, this one is going to go to the end. And I'm just going to let it go all the way to the end. Not that far down, though. Let's bring it back up. And we can also kind of peek and see if our height is good. That was good. And now we'll just glue the inside down. And I'm picking that up between my fingers and kind of molding it together. The glue kind of wets the paper and lets you just kind of squish it really good on there. And I'm really using glue today. It's everywhere. I will be full of glue. That's okay. All right, so that's what I did. I got those 2 on. So that's my front and back. Now what I'm going to do is go to my center tab. So it won't be this one. It will be this one. And I'm going to put this tab in the middle. Okay, and let's see, which one was the middle? Meats. Y'all, I could not do this tab without thinking about Arby's. And if you know, you know, right? Because they have the meats. So I'm centering it between here and here. So I'm the queen of eyeballing. Y'all know this is what I like to do. If you don't want to eyeball, take your ruler, especially your Tim Holtz with the centering feature. Put it on either side until you're even, till you have the same number on both sides. There we go. And I'm glad I did that because I was way off. Line that up. Good enough. We're going to go with that. That's more than I would usually do. Put a little glue down here. And then I'm going to squish that together just like I did the others. Okay, so let me show you. So that one should be in the middle. Pretty good job. Now what I'm going to do is split these between here. They'll go behind and they'll be in the middle, but we're doing the same process. So I will come in here and let's grab soups. And what I'm going to do is place it roughly where I think it needs to go. Then I'll close the book and just see how that looks. That's pretty good. I like that placement. And then I will shut that side. Well, let me put some glue in the front. Then I will shut it down and squeeze it like I did the others. And I'm going to do the same thing for that last tab. So here's what we got so far. We've got our little book covered in the front. We've got all of our tabs installed here. And then we've got our dividers with our pages in between for writing all our recipes. Isn't this cute? This is a cute little thing to have. Okay, let's look at some other inserts. So we're going to build this one together. I saw the Posh Paper Lady do something I thought was really cool. Now, she did this in a neater way. I can link that video below. She did it, when I say neater, like cleaner. I'm going to have to piece this together to make it work. But the reason is because I'm trying to use up scraps, okay? So she did this little, almost like a floating pocket. It was pretty cool. We're going to try to do something like it. So I had this already cut. This is a strip of the cut aparts. And I just folded it and scored it in half. And I want to get a measurement here. So let me measure what length this is. I think this is 6 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 6 inches. So we're going to turn this into a pocket that, or a little booklet that opens that has pockets in it. So let me show you how we're going to do it. So I had these strips left over from the scraps I was using. I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to cut him to like 5 3/4. So I'm going to do that twice. Get 2 pieces. Oh, that was 6 3/4. I almost messed up. Man, my measurements are off this week. 5 3/4. Do you ever have an off week? I've asked y'all a lot of questions in this video. Y'all are like, can you just craft? Okay, so there's that. I'm going to do that number there. And then I think what I'm going to do, these are going to go inside our little booklet as our pockets. I think I'm going to go back to my corner rounder. And I'm going to corner round the top center of these guys. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to corner around just that one, okay? And then I'm going to corner around just this one. This is what I love about paper. You can pretty much engineer what you want, right? So then I'm going to go to my book. Now, what I want to decide, I didn't trim this down height-wise because I want to try to use all of my scraps, but I want to see if this is too tall. I don't think this is too tall. That is literally the scrap I had left, and I think I'm just going to turn that into a pocket just like that. So using this little guy as my pocket, I want to glue down 2 sides, okay? This can be one of those open pockets. Now, I was telling you that this is inspired by Posh Paper Lady. She did not do this. Hers, she made it where her paper was longer and she scored and then folded up, which is brilliant. I just didn't have that kind of paper. I'm working with scraps, so here's what I'm doing to get around it, to get the same look, but get around it. All right, so glue on 2 sides, not 3 sides. This is a 2-side glue pocket. And I'm just going to stick this down and do it just like that. And you know how I tell you guys to like pinch to get extra room and all that kind of stuff to make this lift a little bit? I don't really want to do too much of that here because I need this to stay kind of flat so it'll be a pretty sturdy pocket. All right, now we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to pick this up like I want it to go so I can know which 2 sides to do. So I'm going to do this side and this side. And then I will glue this straight in. Now, I don't really know what I'll need pockets for in this little recipe book, but it's nice to have some here and there. And the cool thing is, if, let's say I don't know, have a magazine clipping or something I want to put into these little pockets until I'm ready to write it in my book, I'm ready. All right, so do I want to corner around the top of this? I don't know that I do. I don't know that I do. Let me show you this part now. For the floating part, this is what I thought was so cool that she did. And I've never tried it, so I'm going to try it. She took her little book, what is this, little folded pocket book, and she only put glue like right here, okay? And then she put it into the spine. Now, she did this in the center of the book, and I may mess up, so this will be my fault, not hers. I'm going to take it and see if I can do that same thing here, so when you open the front, you get this little guy. He just kind of opens up. I'm also going to do it with sticky tape, and I'll tell you why. Because this is going to get a lot of movement in that spine, I'm going to use sticky tape so that my glue doesn't release. I don't think that my art glitter glue would, but I don't know. In my head, I need to use sticky tape, so I'm going to go with it. I can also be sure I have this glued all the way edge to edge in the spine of the book. So I'm just going to do that. Grab my little acrylic block, cut that away. I got a little bit hanging off. I want to get that off of there. I don't like to have sticky tape sticking out anywhere in the book because it grabs and catches. All right, so then we'll remove the backer piece. And this one is going to go into the spine, which is different, but I want to try it. I like what she did. And I'm thinking since I'm not adding too much stuff to the spine, this should be okay. So I don't know. Just going to try it. I thought it was cute. So it pops up a little. I'm not going to stress, but look how neat this is. Now I have this little section that just kind of floats. And you can fold this on itself and kind of get it to move out of the way. But honestly, you don't do a lot here because it's kind of just a placeholder. So it works pretty good. Isn't that cute? Now, I don't think I'm going to put these all the way throughout the book, but I might put a couple in here. I just think it's cute. A cute way to get some pattern, a pocket. It's just something different. I do need to cover this with something. Let me see what we got. So I'm trying to utilize all kinds of scraps in this book. I think it's kind of fun. It's like a scrap happy project. This is a piece that was a cut or an offshoot of our divider pieces. This is some of that dots and stripes that I'm able to use up as well. I'm going to glue this one down just far enough. Let me put this guy here so I can see. How far away is that? 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just using my cutting mat to help me see that up there at the top. So I'm going to put this guy here and kind of get him leveled out. And since he's not quite big enough to cover this whole page, I'm going to use these little offshoots that we had from something else. They were already cut this size. I think they were from the front cover. And then I'm going to put them down like this, just kind of, you know, piecing it together. I think it's kind of fun to use all these scraps up like this. And I'm going to put this other piece in here. Now, that is super cute. I know I'm going to have to trim some off, but I'm going to let it sit for a minute before I do. But now I want to show you this. You remember we had these little cut-aparts left that are my favorite from these Simple Stories packs? This is where these are going to live. I think this is super cute. I've got a little bit of the other one showing on here that I didn't trim away very good. So I'm just going to do a quick trim off of that little strip. And now this guy is going to live to one side. And I would encourage you, if you have other Simple Stories packs especially that have these little cut-aparts that you weren't able to use in another project, this is such a good place to put them. And look how we're going to kind of just calico this section up. I think this is cute. There's other options, but I'm just going to use these. I have a few others that we're going to use on the back cover, I should say. And I don't mind overlapping them. I think it's cute. This section, if you're a planner person, I'm not, by the way, but if you have a planner, this section always reminds me of like the dashboard of a planner. It's like a section where you can write little notes for at a glance, and this kind of always reminds me of that. So like this little guy right down here, I could write Grandma's cookie recipe, page such and such. You know what I'm saying? Or I could write best recipe ever and write the title of it. Or I can make notes of different things I want to remember. Who knows? But isn't that a cute little page? And we're not done. We can come back and add other things too. I'm going to flip this over and see how bad we're hanging over. Gosh, it's not really bad at all. I think I can just corner around this and get rid of some of that. Yep, got that gone. I really thought this was going to be hanging over, but I don't see any. So cool beans, we got that done. Look at our little book coming together. All right, let's go back to the back and let's mimic that back here with my leftover cut-aparts. So my little book is thickening up, but look what we've got. We've got our little dashboard here. We've got our little floating pocket. I really like that little thing. We've got our dividers, which we can come back and decorate. We've got all our tabs in, and in the back I added this. Isn't this cute? It's really coming along. Let's talk about the front before I accidentally use something I want to put there. Let's get the cover done. Now, recently a commenter said that my covers are too busy. And sometimes I agree with that. Sometimes I don't. I don't take it personal. It's okay. It's everybody's opinion of covers. So I'm going to try to be a little simpler on this one, but I really think I can because of what I'm adding. This is a piece of the sticker that I had left because, you know, I used some of this in our original recipe book. So I'm going to use this here on the spine, but I am going to add some glue because I want this to last. I think I'll put the glue here, and that will help it because I know it's going to go right there. I'm going to let it overlap the black because I think this little scallop will really pop on that black edge. So I'm going to lay this down here. This is really cute. Let's get it straight and even. And it is not wanting to stick to the black, so I'm going to add some glue underneath there too. Now this part that's hanging over, I'm just going to flip the book over and trim that away, even down there at the bottom. Cool beans. So that is really wanting to lift right there. I think I'm going to do something else to make that a little more stable. So because that's wanting to lift so bad, I've cut another strip here that is 1/2 inch, and I'm going to use some sticky tape on it. I think this will really help lay that down. The cool thing about the sticky tape is I can get it exactly where I want it and cover this whole piece and really give us a little help. So right where that is overlapping, I'm going to add this piece that's a little bit of stability. Let me look at it this way so I get it straight-ish. Straight-ish, that's about what I do. All right, so that makes me feel better. That kind of seals it down, and I think that looks cute. Well, so much for not being busy, right? Because now my cover's busy. Now I'm going to use this strip that's left over from the edge of the page. You know these little decorator strips? Let me cut that off here. I'll do a better job in a minute of cutting that off. I'm going to glue this down to the front. And then I'm going to use a piece that I have been wanting to use ever since we started making these projects. And it's from one of the ephemera packs, and it is so cute. So let me glue this down here and get that pretty straight. Cut that excess away. And this is the piece I've been wanting to use. Look how cute that is, Baking Memories. I think that is the cutest thing. So I'm going to glue that down as well. So that's where I'm leaving my cover in hopes that it's not too busy. It's still a little busy, but I like all the busyness. I like all the patterns and things. And again, I know, I tell you all the time, you do you, but I wanted to try to do something a little less cluttered. But there you go, there's that. So then let's open back up. We've got this little guy right here. Now, I don't think I'm going to add any cut-aparts. I was going to put cut-aparts on top of these guys, but I think I'm just going to leave these alone. I think that would just be using them in a place that they won't get seen, but I do like what we've got here. And I'm going to call this done. I think it's adorable. I see a little place I want to nick because it's driving me insane right here. Y'all do that too? Now's the time to go through and fine-tune. If you made it and you see some little places you don't love, go ahead and make those changes here. But I think this is cute. This is going to be fun for me to put recipes in and hold on to. I think this will be super neat to be able to have just a small little thing to keep in the kitchen and easy to get to. Keep it in my backpack. You never know when you want to have a little recipe book with you, especially if you're going to like some of these holiday parties. It'd be neat to have. So there you go. 2 projects. Now I'm going to show you what we did, okay? And this one's busy. We talked about not being busy, but I made this one busy. 2 projects. We got this full folio completely filled and done, plus a composition book. Now, we did add our dots and stripes paper. We did go to our stash for that, but I still have so much left that I think it's a good idea, especially for these little guys, to run back through, get some of your scrap paper that's just laying around, some you haven't used in a long time, plus these leftover bits from paper packs, and turn it into something like this instead of it just sitting on the shelf. Let me know what you think. I think these are super fun. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're making these half composition or even full composition books, if you're making them, share them with me. Show me them on our customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com or over at our Facebook group called MaymayMadeIt and So Did I. The links to all of that is in the description below. I would love to see yours. I need some inspiration for covers. You guys share with me what you're doing. I love how this one turned out, and I even love like this. If you're doing stuff like this, show me what you're doing like this because I need some inspiration. Thanks so much for being here today, and until next time, bye now.